I will allow you to record this class. Just promise me that this will just be your for your personal wala mag-upload. Hello?
Noted po, Doc. Thank you po, Doc.
Okay. Well, today we're going to understand the molecular mechanisms behind one of the most prevalent disease of the human race. So we are going to talk about cancer. Okay. Now, for context, ano ba ang cancer? Okay. You should be familiar with the terms tumor, neoplasm, benign, malignant, and cancer. So what are those things? So some of them are actually related to each other. When you talk about when you talk about growth, no, basically an abnormal growth. Okay, you're actually talking of a group of cells. The general term for that is a tumor, no, a tumor. If it is specific, just specific for a certain group of cells, and there is actually uncontrolled growth, you call that neoplasia, no, neoplasia. Take note to class, ha? So, if you if that that neoplasia is actually can actually be either a benign process or a malignant process. When you say malignant process, cancer na siya, no? That is actually cancer. Okay. Now, there are actually characteristics that will differentiate benign from malignant, no? Benign at malignant. So, ano yung mga yon? So, the most important characteristic that will differentiate benign from malignant is metastasis, the ability to spread. Number two, the ability to invade. So those two things will actually separate benign tumors from malignant tumors. Malignant tumors are actually known as cancers. Okay? Gumagalaw class yung PowerPoint.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. So here are classical definitions of cancer: overgrowth of cells bearing K, and they actually confer growth advantage over normal cells, okay, etc., etc. Here is a differentiation of cancer cells and normal cells. Usually, normal cells stay in their place. For cancer cells, they have lost what is known as contact inhibition. Loss of contact inhibition, meaning yung growth nila, even if they are actually their growth cannot be stopped by the surrounding cells. Usually in a normal organ tissue environment, pagka may isang cell, it nag-grow, its growth will be inhibited by yung surrounding cells, no, on contact. That is actually called contact inhibition. So cancer cells, wala, no, they've lost that, and they will actually invade the surrounding cells. So there is actually increase in growth factor secretion, uncontrolled, okay, and increase in oncogene expression. Later on, we're going to talk about oncogenes, no, and the like. Okay. Now I have made a table. This is basically a summary of what is factually found in Harper's. So pag makikita nyo, babasa kayo ng Harper's, ito yun class, itong table na to, you can actually use this to refer to this. Let me just mention a few, okay? So, ito, no? So you have the major categories. So first, uncontrolled growth and proliferation. Ito yung mga yon. Okay? Under which is, you can actually see here, evasion of apoptosis. Ano uli ang apoptosis, class? Can someone tell me what apoptosis is?
Program cell death po, Doc.
Program cell death. Okay. So cells undergoing deleterious mutations that can actually be harmful to the body are actually programmed, no, are actually uh, um, caused by our system to undergo program cell death. No, kasi nga harmful na sila. Okay? So, but cancer cells have the ability to survive apoptosis, and therefore these harmful cells uh, will actually proliferate. Okay? And yan, no? Tapos, you have cellular metabolic hallmarks. You can actually see here, mamaya i-discuss natin ito. You have genetic and epigenetic features, invasion and spread, and then we're going to talk about the TME. TME stands for tumor microenvironment. Okay, let us have just a brief summary of the cell cycle. When you say M phase, so ito yung cell cycle class. So you're talking about a single cell. No? So first, we can actually start yung kapapanganak pa lang ng cell. This is actually after the mitotic phase, okay, which is actually basically a reproductive phase. So ang starting dito is G1. So G1 is characterized by growth. So there is actually protein synthesis that occurs here. And the cell prepares for the S. What is S? S is the synthetic phase. This is where DNA replication will occur. The purpose of G1 is for the cell to synthesize enzymes that are necessary for DNA replication. So enzymes such as DNA polymerase, single-strand binding proteins, those are the things that are actually topoisomerase, those the things that are actually discussed in your gene expression. Okay. Now, during this phase, there will be a surveillance. The DNA will be somehow scanned, okay, by certain proteins, okay. And these proteins, okay, we will actually name them later, okay, will determine if there will be, if there are actually mutations. If there are mutations, then the cell cycle will not progress from G1 to S. It will stop, mag-stop siya, and the cell will undergo apoptosis. That is the plan. Okay, that's the plan. Such proteins are actually named as tumor suppressors because they actually stop the proliferation of cells. Okay. Now, if wala naman problema, yung genetic, basically intact yung GNA, there is basically no such mutations, it will progress to the S phase. The S phase is where all the DNA will be replicated in preparation for the G2 phase. What is the G2 phase? The G2 phase is another preparation phase, no? Here in the G2 phase, there is actually protein synthesis necessary to for the next phase, which is actually reproductive phase. So what is actually required during the G2 phase? So you need to double the proteins of the cell dito sa G2 phase. Pag nadoble mo na yung protein, tapos di ba sabi natin dito sa S phase, nadoble mo na yung DNA, ready ka nang pumunta, ready nang mag-divide yung cell. It will now undergo mitosis. I will not, let me ask you, do you still remember the steps of mitosis? Alam pa ba nyo yung step na, who can tell me the steps of mitosis? Let me give you the first step. It begins with prophase. Ano yung susunod? What's the next step?
Metaphase po, Doc.
After prophase, ano susunod?
Metaphase po.
Very good. Okay. So prophase, basically, the nuclear membrane will actually dissolve, okay, releasing um, the chromatin material of the cell, and the cell will actually try to organize this chromatin into chromosome form. Chromosome form is also a type of chromatin, no? As a review, do you still remember the difference between a chromatin and naked DNA? Chromatin has RNA and protein, and also such proteins can be non-histone or non-histone. Okay, so yun ang ng purpose nun, no? So now, pagdating ng metaphase, these chromosomes derived from the chromatin will align in the center of the cell. The specific term for that is equatorial region. And what happens is that the purpose of such alignment is to make sure that when the cell divides, there will be an equal number of chromosomes for each progeny. When I say progeny, siya yung anak ng cell, the daughter cells. Okay? And okay, so that's prophase, and then metaphase. Ano yung susunod?
Anaphase po.
Okay, anaphase. Magkakaroon ng 4 row. Simula na mag-divide. And finally,
Telophase po, Doc.
telophase. Alright. And then mag-divide ng cells. Now, Doc, bakit dito? After division, meron po ditong G0. G0 phase is usually, this happens during the G1 phase. Now, what happens is that the cell will now some cells undergo what is known as terminal differentiation. Ang ibig sabihin ng terminal differentiation, the cell will actually specialize. It can actually become a red blood cell, skin cell, a liver cell, a kidney cell. Such specialization, when it occurs, will actually make the cell incapable of dividing anymore. Ang kagandahan niyan, it will actually stay as is. This is especially true for neurons. So, parang kayo, if we make an analogy of that, nung pinanganak kayo, you are actually in the right after the M phase. Pag kayo ay may career na at may trabaho na, you are basically in the G0 phase. Parang gano'n. Specialized phase na kayo. So, this is actually a resting phase. Sometimes they would call this an interphase period. Interphase. Okay. Now, at the molecular level, okay, the hallmark of any neoplasm is mutation. Okay? This is actually a molecular hallmark of cancer, mutation, especially mutation of DNA or genetic material. Actually, ngayon, recognize na that hindi lang DNA yung pwedeng mag-mutate, but it is also RNA. Okay? So, but of course, let's stick to DNA. Now, there are different types of mutations. In Harper's, it classified mutations as 2, driver at saka passenger mutations. So, that the gist of this, the essence of this is that driver mutations are actually found, okay? They are actually found in most cells, and they are consistently involved in cancer formation. Consistently, itong mga driver mutations na ito, such that they actually provide a selective growth advantage doon sa growing tumor. Okay? Now, what are passenger mutations? Passenger mutations are just basically incidental mutations based on the type of tumor. Okay, type of tumor. So, kumbaga, driver and passenger, take note of, it's like a car. Yung nagda-drive ng kotse, yung driver, di ba? Tapos yung nakasakay ay yung passenger. But it doesn't mean that the passenger cannot influence the driver. Diba? Yung passenger, pwede niyang galitin yung driver, no? Pwede niyang asarin yung driver. But again, it is the driver that will actually
Recording in progress.
or to go somewhere. Okay. Now, the Cancer Genome Atlas, meron tinatawag na Cancer Genome Atlas. It is actually a collection, no, of genes, okay, can actually help identify itong mga driver mutations across cancer types. If there will be a new cancer, people will actually, researchers will actually refer to this atlas, no, genome atlas, to identify driver mutations, no, that the cancer actually has. Now, take note that a single cell will often require at least 5 to 6 driver mutations. It's not enough na isang single mutations lang. So, dapat 5 to 6 driver mutations. Okay? So, what is the meaning of this? So, para magkaroon ka ng cancer, let's say may pinanganak ka, may mutation ka. It doesn't mean that you're going to develop cancer. So here, you have to develop around 5 to 6 of such mutations to induce malignancy. There is actually a test to determine if a substance is a mutagen. A mutagen means it is able to cause mutation. Okay? So, what you do is, in a dish, you are going to mix a broth of histidine and salmonella. So, the salmonella is not able, no, to use histidine, for example, no. So histidine lang siya at saka ang laman niya at saka salmonella. Now, if you are going then to mix this broth with a potential magdadagdag ka ng isang test substance mo. Gusto mong malaman, ito kaya magkakos ito ng mutation? And when you add this, if it is really a mutagen, it will alter the genetic makeup of the salmonella that it is able to proliferate because it is now able to use histidine. Take note, kasi initially, yung salmonella na yon cannot use histidine. Okay, but since nagkaroon ng mutagen, salmonella somehow can actually utilize histidine, so magpo-proliferate siya. Okay. If not, basically the salmonella will actually decrease in decrease in amount, no, in terms of reproduction. There is actually an optional modification to this procedure. Ang tawag dito AMES test. AMES test, no? You are going to add, because some if you remember your lecture, do you have a Synobiotics SGD class? Meron ba?
Parang wala po, Doc.
Wala pa. Okay, sige. There drugs, no? Certain drugs, certain substances that you actually take can actually be needs to be activated by the liver and modified in order to become carcinogens. By the way, when I say carcinogens, it's cancer causing. When I say mutagens, it is able to cause mutation. A substance that is a mutagen, it doesn't mean that it will actually lead to cancer, no? Hindi ibig sabihin carcinogen siya. So I hope that when you say mutagen, the target is different. Mutagen targets the DNA. Carcinogen does not only target the DNA, it targets the development of all other characteristics that is actually necessary for cancer formation. Okay? Now, when you add when you add that liver extract, the liver of course will actually simulate what is done to the body when you actually take like say a drug. It will metabolize it, and if it is actually a carcinogen, then again there will be more of this mutant Salmonella typhi bacteria. So mas nadami sila. Okay? Now, what is the limitation of this? The limitation of this is that hindi lang naman kasi direct mutation sa DNA ang nagkukos ng cancer. No? Not all cancer can be is actually caused by mutations in DNA. There is actually what is known as epigenetic changes. So normal ang gene mo, ang kaso, what happens is that the expression of the genes are actually modified to cause cancer. Ang tawag doon, epigenetic changes. So therefore, the aim, that is actually a major limitation of the Ames test. Because kahit normal ang gene mo, pag na-alter yung expression ng genes, these are called epigenetic changes, it can lead to cancer, and the Ames test can be normal. Okay, any questions, class, at this point? May tanong ba, class? Any
None,
questions?
sir.
Clear
None
naman?
so far po.
Hello? Clear naman tayo, class?
Yes po, Doc. None so far naman.
Okay. So, let's talk about carcinogens, and there are three main categories: chemical, physical, at saka viral. Okay. So, again, kung may carcinogens can actually lead to mutations. Yun ang kanyang mutations, and of course alteration of genetic changes. And then mutations can lead to cancer. But again, take note that there are epigenetic changes, okay? Outside of this, that can actually lead to cancer. Let us go first dun sa chemical. Chemical muna. So, the things that you eat, there are three stages. So, first is the primary exposure. Okay, so ano nangyari? This is called initiation. So, what happens is that you have a molecule that damages the DNA. And this is actually reversible because you have processes that can actually repair the DNA. For example, for example, exposure of DNA to ultraviolet light can lead to crosslinks sa thymine dimers. So, it can actually be repaired, Pwedeng ma-repair yan. So, reversible sila, reversible. Now, what happens is that mula dun sa DNA damage, listen class, mula dun sa DNA damage, let's say, hindi siya na-repair. Kung hindi siya na-repair, then consider that a defective DNA. That will actually be carried in the progeny, that defective DNA. This is called promotion. So ito class, the center, nakita nyo may dark na siya. Kasi nga, meron siyang mutation. Hindi pa yan cancer. Now, if that cell will undergo further genetic damage, altered DNA expression, and it will actually develop characteristics of cancer. Ang tawag doon, progression stage. Ayan na siya. Mas marami na siyang mutations. And now, well, kahit na nag-progress, it can still undergo apoptosis or even it can differentiate. However, minsan ito ay inhibited, so therefore it can lead to cancer formation. Okay? So, ang ginagawa ng body class is lahat ng cells is basically sinusurvey niya that only cells that are beneficial must survive in your body. O sila lang dapat. If not, then of course, there will be one of the effects would be cancer formation or carcinogenesis. So yun ang chemical. So, let's go through some of this. Okay. So, with regards to initiation, there are two types, no, of initiators, where direct acting tsaka indirect acting. Direct acting directly damages the DNA. Indirect acting, they have to, for example, ito yung mga pro-carcinogens. They have to undergo liver metabolism first. For example, cytochrome P450, yan, no, sa liver, before they become a carcinogen. Okay? Initiation requires at least one round of cell division. The next is promotion, no? Promotion, sorry, nag-overlap. And let me correct this. Okay. I think ito yun, no? Sorry. Ito yung properties of promoters. Yeah. Okay, so promoters, they are actually not carcinogens. Okay. Promoters are not carcinogens. Dapat ganyan siya. Yan. Okay. So promoters are not carcinogens. Okay. And ang function nila, class, is basically to cause that mutated cell to undergo further division. So it is reversible, it is dose dependent, it's also time dependent kasi nga. Okay. Example ng direct acting. So direct acting could be cyclophosphamide, which is actually a chemotherapeutic drug, chlorambucil, busulfan, melphalan, no? Mga chemotherapeutic drugs yan. Promoters are the following. Okay? Promoters such as saccharin, no? Cyclamates, found in sweeteners. Kaya kayo mag-ingat kayo sa mga sweeteners. Hindi sila cancer-causing, but if you have a carcinogen, then they can actually promote cells to actually divide, no? Even cells that are mutated DNA already. Okay? Even estrogen and diethylstilbestrol. Okay? Now, procarcinogens are the following. Procarcinogens need to be modified by the liver to become carcinogens. So, PAH, no? Para amino okay, para ito amino hipurate. You have aromatic amines, azodies, aflatoxin that is actually found in peanuts. Usually yung pagka kumain ka ng medyo spoiled peanuts, medyo mapait, aflatoxin yan. It goes to your liver. Once it goes to your liver, it is actually a carcinogen. It is associated with liver cancer. Aromatic amines and azodies are associated with nasopharyngeal carcinoma. Okay? Aflatoxin B1, yan na. Sorry. Mixing na. This is aflatoxin B1. Yan. Baba natin sa aflatoxin. Alright. Ayan. So, vinyl chloride. Sa makita yung vinyl chloride, yung PVC pipes. No, PVC pipes. Diyan dumadaan tubig natin. Pro-carcinogen yan. Pero siguro wala naman kumakain yan, no, ng PVC pipe. But pag nade-degrade sila and, microplastics in your food can actually lead to cancer. Ano pa? Arsenic, nickel, chromium, nitrosamine, which is actually found in fermented meat. Okay? Yung burgers, ganyan, no? It's associated with nasopharyngeal carcinoma. Yan. No? So, that's it. Now, let's go to physical carcinogenesis. So, ang pinag-usapan natin still on the topic of carcinogenesis, no? Mutations. Okay, so ang sikat sa physical carcinogenesis is yung madalas request ng mga doktor, X-rays, no? And also ultraviolet radiation. So they are actually cause direct damage to gene and even gene expression. So what are the sources of radiation? Of course, here's the sunlight. Okay, hopefully our ozone layer can actually protect us. Artificial sources of UV lights, X-rays, radioactive, no, chemicals. Kaya ngayon, di ba, it's war, and there is actually kung gumamit ng nuclear weapons of a exposure to intense radiation. Aside from that, we have nuclear power plants. No, there could be a fallout of these nuclear power plants. Ganyan, no? Okay, now let's first analyze ultraviolet rays. So these are ultraviolet rays, and with regards to ultraviolet rays, the most what happens is that, so you have UVA, UVB, and UVC. So it has a specific wavelength. So ito yung pinakamababang wavelength, which it is actually called UVC. So that's actually ultraviolet light. Okay. The good thing about this is that UVC is filtered by the ozone. So wala kayong problema sa UVB. Ang problema is UVC. Ang problema is yung UVB. So UVB can actually go through the ozone and thereby induce mutations. Okay? And in fact, exposure to UVB is associated with the development of skin cancers. For example, melanoma or melanosarcoma, basal cell carcinoma, and squamous cell carcinoma of the skin. So yan, UV rays. So mag-ingat kayo sa exposure sa skin. Dermatologists recommend that kahit hindi ka masyadong exposed, hindi ka lumalabas ng bahay, you are still exposed to UVs, ultraviolet. So you still have to apply sunscreen. At least that's their recommendation. Okay. Now let's talk about even something that is more powerful than ultraviolet light, and I'm talking about ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation has the ability to ionize atoms and produce free radicals. Okay, and ionizing radiation such as that of X-rays, okay, that of CT scan, yan, no. So they can actually produce free radicals. And ano yung mga cancers associated with ionizing radiation? So kanina UV, skin cancer. Now you have blood. So leukemia. Okay, leukemia. Yun ang number 1 sa ionizing radiation. Especially because of course I'm talking about blood. So Doc, bakit po blood? Ang naapektuhan dyan, class, is usually the bone marrow. So the bone marrow has stem cells, and these stem cells can undergo mutations that can be carried to the progeny, and then you will actually form leukemia. Maraming forms ng leukemia. Okay, you could have the acute forms and the chronic forms, the lymphoblastic forms and the myelogenous forms. Now you also have solid tumors that can arise from ionizing radiation. Example, thyroid cancer. Another thing, lung cancer. Isa pa, breast cancer. Pero number one muna yung leukemia, susunod yung thyroid cancer, susunod yung lung and breast. If you're talking about tendency to develop cancer due to ionizing radiation. Okay. Now they say that the bone, your skin and GIT is basically resistant to ionizing radiation. However, the skin is not resistant to UV. So, yan. No? Pantay-pantay lang yung mga cells. So the skin, prone siya to develop cancer by ultraviolet, but yung blood naman sa ionizing radiation. Okay, let's talk about viruses. Okay, so viruses can be classified. You will learn later on in second year. No, can be classified as RNA and DNA, and in their life cycle, they can actually, some of them can actually integrate with the host cell DNA. That integration can actually alter the transcription dynamics and even the replication dynamics of the host cell, leading to the generation of cancer. So yan ang basically the method of viral oncogenes. But take note that only cells, usually cells that can actually insert into the nucleus, sa nucleus, sila lang talaga it's basically sila yung mas mataas na may tendency to develop cancer. Okay, for example, COVID caused by SARS, a coronavirus, yung life cycle niya does not involve integration with the host, and therefore mas less ang tendency niya to cause cancer. However, HIV, which is a retrovirus, it's an RNA virus, no? You don't, based sa kanyang life cycle, it can be converted to a DNA, ang tawag na to DNA. That DNA can be inserted into the host DNA, and then of course, alam na natin yan, mutation can actually occur. Let me enumerate the DNA viruses associated with cancer. So yung pinakasikat is human papilloma virus, HPV. So it is associated with cervical cancer, warts, and even cancers of the anus, and of course the penile cancer and other anogenital cancers. So yung HPV yan. Kaya nga there is actually a move here to vaccinate women as well as men. Bakit i-vaccinate yung men? Kasi sila yung pwede silang makahawa ng mga women. Okay? Herpes simplex 2. I have to emphasize yung 2. This can actually lead to, is associated with cervical carcinoma. Epstein-Barr virus is associated with nasopharyngeal carcinoma and Burkitt's lymphoma. Okay? Human herpes virus 8 is in conjunction with AIDS, is associated with Kaposi's sarcoma. Okay, sarcoma is actually a cancer of the connective tissue. Hepatitis B virus, hepatocellular carcinoma or hepatoma. Okay. Herpes simplex virus 6, kasi nga, kaya in-emphasize ko kanina yung virus 2 tsaka 6, no? B-cell lymphoma. Okay. Those are the DNA viruses. Yung mga RNA viruses naman are the like. So, HIV is associated with Kaposi sarcoma and lymphoma. Okay. So, don't worry class, I'm going to give you a handout, no, of this lecture, but most of this is actually taken from Harper's Introduction to Cancer. Okay. So let's talk about specific viral agents. So punta muna tayo sa HPV. Not all HPV serotypes. Okay. Ano ibig sabihin ng mga serotypes class? So serotypes, if you have viruses produces antigens, and then antibodies are actually specific doon sa mga antigens. So, different antigens can actually be, will actually bind to specific antibodies. So, pwede mo silang i-type. Ang tawag doon is actually a serotype. It is only serotype 16, 18, 31, 33, and 35 that is associated with cancer. Ano ang mechanism niya? So, what happens is that this is actually a genome of the human papilloma virus. What happens is that there is actually these viruses causes a modification of the ORF. Ang ibig sabihin ng ORF is basically open reading frame. No, open reading frame 'yan, no, sa let's say sa isang let's say human genome. Okay? What happens is that meron ka kasing E1 and E2 proteins. Okay? So, this is the genome of the virus. No? Genome of the virus. So, ang nangyayari is when the open reading frame, E2, E1, E2 open reading frame is interrupted, hindi na i-express ang E2. Ang E2 kasi, what the function of E2 is to inhibit E6 and E7. Okay. So, kung what happens, ang effect niyan is E2 is not expressed. So therefore, tataas ang E6 and E7. Ano naman ang gagawin ng E6 at E7? They will inhibit the following. E6 will inhibit P53 and E7 will inhibit RB. Yung RB, no? PRB. They are actually associated with, yung P53 is associated with, you will learn later on, it is actually a tumor suppressor that prevents development of cancer. So, sa madaling salita, they will actually, itong mga viruses na ito will lead to, ultimately, overexpressions of E6 and E7 that will actually inhibit the protectors of your cell. Inhibit the inhibitors, no, of apoptosis, no, yung tumor suppressors. Okay. So kapag so what happens pag na-inhibit sila, then if you have if that cell, especially a cervical a uterine cell will actually develop a mutation, it can actually proliferate. Okay, Epstein-Barr virus. Okay. So, paano mo nakukuha ang human papilloma virus? It's actually by sexual activity. No? Pero there are actual reports that it can be obtained through the oral route. Kung paano, use your imagination. Okay? Okay. So let's talk about Epstein-Barr virus. Okay? So, Epstein-Barr virus likes WBCs, no? Mahilig siyang i-invade yung mga WBC. Example, B cells, yan, no? So what happens is that when it enters a virus, it is actually, it undergoes an episomal existence. Episomal existence meaning inside the cell, it is actually covered by a membrane. This episome can actually sometimes is actually found inside the nucleus. Sa loob siya ng nucleus. Protected siya. And what happens is that it produces the following proteins. So you have LMP1, okay, and then EBNA, is actually Epstein-Barr, no, and then EBNA2, okay. These actually proteins will actually cause that cell to immortalize. It means na hindi mag-undergo ng apoptosis yan. all the processes that is actually programmed to na young B cell na yan to basically die will actually be inhibited. So magpe-persist siya. So that will actually lead to B cell lymphoma or Burkitt's lymphoma or Hodgkin's lymphoma. Okay. Now, punta naman tayo sa hepatitis B. So, hepatitis B naman, if you remember your aflatoxin, okay, and also if there will be chronic inflammation of the liver. Now, in the liver, mayroon specific cell that actually stores vitamin A. Can you still remember that cell? It is found in the canalicular area. It stores vitamins, vitamin A. Anong pangalan, class? Starts with letter I from its Japanese discoverer.
Ito cells po, Doc.
Ito. Okay, very good. Ito cells. Now, these cells, when there is chronic inflammation, okay, ang function lang nila is basically storage. Ang nangyayari, it gets infected with hepatitis B. It actually transforms. It actually becomes stellate cells. This stellate cell will actually cause the production of growth factors and other inflammatory mediators to cause the following: fibrosis. Okay, fibrosis. Ano pa? It will actually induce some of the liver cells to basically overexpress HBX. What is HBX? It's actually a protein that will activate protein kinase C, causing, again, the liver cell to immortalize. Hindi siya mamamatay. Okay? Hindi siya mamamatay. So, HBX is also induced by aflatoxin. P1. Okay. So we are done with viral agents. Okay, next. So we now go to carcinogenesis. Tapos na tayo. So again, in summary, the hallmark of cancer. Cancer and benign tumors can be differentiated. Commonly, there is uncontrolled growth. With regards to their difference, cancer cells has the ability to invade and metastasize. Okay, it starts with mutations. Mutations are actually tested by Ames, but I've mentioned yung limitations ng Ames test. Mutations can also are actually produced by mutagens, or what we know as carcinogens. Carcinogens are of three types. We have chemical, physical, and viral. Okay, so yung chemical, I mentioned yung tatlong steps: initiation, promotion, progression. And I mentioned the names of certain promoters, certain direct-acting carcinogens, indirect-acting carcinogens. And then we have the physical, which is usually yung radiation, either UV or ionizing radiation. And then you have, lastly, the viral carcinogens, which are actually either DNA or RNA, and they have specific mechanisms of action. Okay, now what are the genes, okay, that will actually be mutated? So kanina, sinabi natin ano yung mga nag-mutate, ano yung nagko-cause ng mutation. Now, ano yung mga genes that are actually mutated that will lead to cancer? There are three categories, major categories, although this is not the only, no? First is those that will actually promote growth. Ang tawag mo sa kanila, oncogenes. Normally, we have them. We call them proto-oncogenes. So, pag nakita mo yung salitang proto-oncogenes, normal yan. Ang susunod, tumor suppressor genes. The function of that is to stop growth. Okay, and then we have the DNA repair genes. As the name implies, they will actually it's actually for the repair of DNA. Okay. Now, in molecular carcinogenesis, mutation will either lead to the following. Ay, sin ko lang natin. Nito to. Lang ha. Yung ganun. So, kasi, okay, dapat ganun yan. Tapos ito, aakyat natin. Yun. I think. Okay. So, first is the oncogene, which is actually a growth promoting. Pag nag-mutate siya, it can, in order to produce cancer, the mutation should lead to a gain of function. For the tumor suppressor gene naman, di ba siya yung nag-stop ng progression to cancer? Siya nga yung survey, no? Surveillance, genetic surveillance. It must lead to a loss of function. And DNA repair gene naman, also a loss of function. This is the trinity, no? The triumvirate of the cancer genes. So there should be a balance. So parang halimbawa, so parang nasa seesaw sila, no? There is a balance normally of oncogenes, growth promoting and tumor suppressor genes. They are actually surveillance, no? Itong tumor suppressor genes. DNA repair genes are in between, no? DNA repair genes prevent their mutation, no? Yung oncogenes at tumor suppressor genes. As long as there's balance, then there will be no cancer formation. But if there is an imbalance, no, especially in favor, no, in favor of oncogenes, it will lead to cancer. If it will be in favor of tumor suppressor genes, ang mangyayari naman yan, excessive apoptosis naman ang mangyayari. So dapat talaga balance lang talaga ito. So let's talk about the oncogene family. So you have classification of oncogenes. They are usually growth factors, but they can be factors that are actually found intracellularly. For example, yung RAS associated with many cancers, GIT cancers. And then yung MYC, no? They're actually DNA binding proteins. And you have regulators of apoptosis such as BCL, BAX, and BAD. And you also have ERB, FMS, RET, TRK. They are actually cell surface receptors. If you remember your TRK, this is actually a tyrosine kinase, a FES, and then FMS. They are cell surface receptors. When they are overexpressed, sumusobra yung receptors, then there is actually persistence of signals for growth. So unstoppable growth ang nangyayari. Okay, so let's talk about how these oncogenes can be affected, no? So first is the method of gene amplification. So what is gene amplification? So you basically multiply specific gene copies. Okay, so usually with regards to chromosomes, there are areas of the chromosomes that are actually known as homogeneously HHSRs, no? Yung those involved in genetic technology, they call them homogeneously stained regions, no? These regions are actually distributed, okay, few, okay, pero ang nangyayari, dumadami sila. So they can actually appear as an extra chromosome, a part of a chromosome na, okay? Or an example of this is basically the MYC, no? The MYC oncogene. And Okay? And what happens is that yung MYC oncogene can actually be uh, uh, amplified. Yan, no? Can actually be found in many areas of a single or multiple chromosomes. Okay, so so that's it. No? That's for basically gene amplification. So dumadami sila. Okay. The other one is what is known as translocation. Okay. So initially, so example niyan, initially you have a gene, a growth promoting gene that is actually minding its own business. Normally, parang ito yung kaklase mo na tahimik lang, no? Wala naman kino-contribute pero it's just tahimik lang siya. Pero maya-maya ililipat mo siya sa ibang klase and now para siyang naging super classmate, no? Parang ano na siya, it now actually becomes a driver of growth, no? Dati tahimik siya, ngayon parang bigla siyang very active. This is what happens in Burkitt's lymphoma. The MYC oncogene in chromosome 8 is translocated to chromosome 14. So ililipat siya. Okay? Ilalagay siya sa isang enhancer. Usually, it's actually, I believe it's an, it's an IgG-H, no? Sa heavy region. Dito natatranslate yung mga heavy region ng immunoglobulins. Eh di ba, immunoglobulins are always synthesized because we're actually, lagi naman tayong exposed to microorganisms. And now, malapit dun yung MYC. So therefore, ma-overexpress siya. Ang tawag dito is Philadelphia chromosome. No, Philadelphia chromosome. What happens is that yung MYC oncogene will be overexpressed yan. Excess MYC oncogenes. So this is a very important process, no? Okay. Tapos na tayo sa oncogenes. Now we now go to tumor suppressor genes. So tumor suppressor genes, sabi nga natin, they inhibit growth, they will allow apoptosis to occur if your genome is actually mutated. So example niyan is the APC, no? And APC is associated with colorectal cancer. Ganon din yung DCC. They are actually cell adhesion molecules, no? Also, ito yung sikat, P53 and RB1. So let us now go into how they are mutated. They are mutated following a law. It's basically a law, but it's still ang tawag dito is Knudsen's two-hit law or Knudsen's two-hit hypothesis. So that means, okay, we know that you have two sets of genes, one inherited from the father, one inherited from the mother. For oncogenes, you just need isang mutation from either father or mother. Ang tawag sa mutation na yun ay dominant mutation. However, for tumor suppressor genes, you cannot simply mutate one and then both will be, it will actually be affected. You need to mutate both alleles. When I talk about alleles, what you inherit from your father or your mother. So, so the first hit is actually an inherited mutation. This is a germline mutation. So, nung bata ka. The second hit is a gross chromosomal loss, a mutation that actually occurs later in life. So, ang tawag dito is Knudsen's two-hit hypothesis. Okay? So, well, the good thing about is tumor suppressor genes can do this, but oncogenes and even DNA repair genes do not use this, no? do not require yung Knodson's 2-hit. Okay. So let's go to the specific tumor suppressors. Okay, first is retinoblastoma gene. Retinoblastoma gene is a tumor suppressor, and the specific function is that it acts as a downstream pathway of p53. Mamaya pag-usapan natin p53. ERB is said to inhibit E2F. Basically, sequesters E2F. When it does this, it will prevent a G1 cell from progressing into the S phase. Okay, so that's basically its role. Okay, it is inhibited by phosphorylation. No? Phosphorylation, when you phosphorylate it. Okay, so therefore, it is activated by hypophosphorylation. So hyperphosphorylation inhibits it. Hypophosphorylation activates it. So or dephosphorylation. Okay, so it is associated with the following oncoproteins. So you have yung E1 associated with and E7 associated with HPV. Okay. Now let's go to p53. The location of p53 is chromosome 17. Actually, the small arm low at the band 13.1, or that is actually the locus, no? 17p13.1. The product is p53 protein, and the function is it will actually sinabi na natin, it will actually induce DNA repair or apoptosis if the DNA is actually damaged. Damage to p53 will lead to multiple cancer. That multiple cancer is actually found in many. Diba? Many. Ang clue dyan, okay? So para may kayo, many. Marami, many cancer. And p53 is inhibited by E6. Ito yung sinabi natin, di ba yung E6? So, binanggit natin E6 kanina. Also by E1B, MD, M2. Now, this is actually P53. Okay? It's, you can actually see it's a tetramer. Oh, medyo natin to, no? Walay natin, no? So, para makita niyo yung structure organization. Okay. So you can see the organization of the p53 is okay. So this is actually a tetramer in the mature form. It has a DNA binding domain and an activation domain. This is for regulation. This is actually for activation of or inhibition of transcription. Okay. So what happens now is if you have DNA damage, makinig na dito class, there will be activation of p53. p53 will bind to a regulatory portion of p21. Anong gagawin ni p21? Si p21 will now bind with cyclin CDK. Okay? Cyclin CDK. Ito yun. Okay? So, ito yung cyclin CDK. Okay? So, when it does that, it will actually prevent the it will actually lead to the following, no? It will actually lead to yung kanina, no? Phosphorylation of hypophosphorylation of RB. Now RB will then sequester E2F. And when E2F is sequestered, then there will be no progression from G1 to S. I will repeat. P53 muna, it will bind to P21, and then P21 inhibits CDK complex, cyclin CDK, and then susunod, inhibit yung PRB. And then ang susunod, PRB will sequester E to F, and then it will not progress from G1 to S. Okay, this is actually a just to show you the yung role nung P53, okay, in detail. Okay, I've included this in your sa handout, anyway bibigay ko to as a handout class. Okay, so we are done. So yung tatlo na discuss na natin, the genes that were actually mutated. So in organization, so una muna diniscuss natin kung ano yung cancer, and then ang susunod diniscuss natin paano sila ano yung nagda-driver ng mutation. Now we are actually discussing kung ano yung mga specific genes na dapat na mutate para mag-lead ng cancer. Kasi hindi lahat ng mutation will lead to cancer. So ito yung tatlo. Again, tumor suppressor, okay, which must have a loss of function, and then ganoon din yung DNA repair genes, which must have a loss of function, and then the oncogenes, which must have a gain of functions. Okay? Now, let's talk about something that is outside of this. Okay, first I would like itong tinatawag na epigenetic mechanisms. So what happens, epigenetic mechanisms, you have normal genes, but they are actually modified. So for example, cytosine can actually be methylated. When that happens, this can actually turn off tumor suppressor genes. O, di ba? So, normal gene, minodify mo lang siya. Kaya ang tawag doon is an epigenetic mechanism. And now, P53 cannot be expressed. Okay? So, they say that inhibitors like 5-aza-deoxycytidine can actually reverse this. So, this is actually a pathway for what is known as epigenetic therapy. Okay. Just a mention on DNA repair genes. So, DNA repair genes are actually, as we have said, dominant mutation lang ang pinakailangan mo dito. And the function of repair genes is basically to repair DNA. And examples are found of this is in E. coli, yung MUT, mutation HSL system, or in human analogs, okay, these are actually associated with what is known as microsatellite instability. So ano yung microsatellite instability? So you have a gene, and then surrounding that gene are actually proteins that will actually allow it to repair. Para silang satellite. No, what's a satellite? Satellite is basically an object that actually revolves for example, yung sa Earth, no? Another object. So they are actually surrounding a certain gene. So that is actually called microsatellite instability. But take note that this microsatellite instability can actually lead to cancer. Pero for DNA repair genes, it is actually good. Now, are there other methods of causing cancer? Eto na, no? Yung miRNA or microRNA. So, microRNA are non-coding RNAs, and they have the ability to regulate expression of mRNA or to cause mRNA stability. Okay? There are microRNAs that are oncogenic. It means that para silang oncogenes. There are tumor suppressive microRNAs. So, anong ginagawa nila? Normal yung gene product mo, ang ginagawa nila is that they will either activate translation, or inhibit translation. And if inhibit nila yung translation they can do that. When they inhibit the translation of tumor suppressor genes, for example, as an example, pwede sila mag-cause ng cancer. So, ganyan, no? So, the good thing about mRNAs, you can actually use them to basically inhibit a cell from expressing certain proteins. So, pwede mo silang gamitin as treatment for cancer. So, promising, no? Pwede. Okay? So although pwede din sila maging harmful. Now, ano naman itong oncohistones? If you remember how DNA is organized, DNA is organized, di ba, sa from the naked DNA, and then you have histone complex, which is actually an octamer. Iikot yan. The DNA is negatively charged because of the phosphate, and the histone complexes are actually positively charged because of the presence of lysine, arginine, histidine, no? So iikot yan, iikot doon sa histone complex, just like a stick na inikot, ikot ka doon ng ng string. So basically, you can modify itong mga histones na ito, and when you modify these histones, but basically the function of these histones is to compact yung DNA. So if DNA is actually compacted, it cannot be transcribed and then later on ultimately translated. Pero kapag minodify mo itong mga, if you have these oncohistones will actually sometimes promote transcription. So example niyan are actually in pediatric cancers and glioblastomas, which is actually glioblastoma is actually a tumor of the brain. So ang nangyayari is that pag itong mga oncohistones it actually interacts with DNA associated with a gene, it can actually be transcribed or pwede rin naman ma-inhibit. Okay? So depending kung ano yung tatamaan niya, is it an oncogene or tumor suppressor or repair genes, kung magkukos siya ng cancer. Next, the switch. Switch, or basically the sucrose non-fermenting remodeling complexes. So these complexes are used, remember, during just right after the telophase, I think that's already right after the telophase. So pupunta na, mag-organize na yung mga chromosomes into chromatin. So that's a very important. There is actually a switch, to remodel this chromatin. If you remember, there are two types of chromatin. Do you still remember the two types of chromatin? Hello, class. Hello? Are you still there? Do you still remember the two types of chromatin? Isa yung chromatin that is actually constitutively expressed, and the other chromatin is not.
Yung ano po ba to? Euchromatin and heterochromatin po.
Yun. So euchromatin, and then you have, or sometimes they call this homochromatin, and then you have heterochromatin, yung hindi na-express. Now, this switch, SNF, can actually use ATP to remodel chromatin, basically altering their expression. So take note that loss of function can lead to deregulated gene expression. Ayan, no? Okay, so ito yung Cancer Genome Atlas that allows researchers to basically detect itong mga mutations, yung mga oncoproteins, oncogenes, tumor suppressor genes, and DNA repair genes. Okay. Now let's talk about paracrine signaling in the tumor microenvironment. Okay. So this just tells you that even normal cells, when they are exposed to signals produced from their kapitbahay or paracrine cells, it can actually cause them to become a tumorous growth, and continuous paracrine signaling can lead to chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation can lead to reactive oxygen species and other production of growth factors, etc., etc. So that's how paracrine signals lead to, of course, tumor formation, even if normal yung mga cells. Okay, Warburg effect. Normal cells, these are basically characteristics of normal cells, have the ability to use glycolysis. Mahilig sila sa glycolysis, hindi sila mahilig sa oxidative phosphorylation. Mahilig sila sa substrate level phosphorylation. And this is the reason why there are actually two more drugs that can actually target glycolysis and of course kill itong mga tumor cells na ito. Okay? Now, usually normal cells normal cells use pyruvate kinase. Pyruvate kinase is the 10th step of glycolysis. Okay? So it uses a highly active protein kinase, pyruvate kinase, of the isozyme M1 variant. No? Yung cancer cells usually express the dimeric pyruvate kinase M2 variant. Okay? What happens is that this creates, there is actually a bottleneck. Nagkakaroon ng bottleneck, accumulation of glycolytic intermediates. And if you will target PKM2, the pyruvate kinase M2 variant, they can actually restore respiration in cells, and even mangyayari is that the cells can actually be, and since PKM2 is utilized, so for normal cells it's actually good. Pero for cancerous cells, if you target PKM2 variant, they can actually die. Kasi nga, they somehow depend on this variant, this isozyme of pyruvate kinase. Okay. Now, this is the reason, ito yung mga glycolysis inhibitors used in cancer. So you have inhibitor of hexokinase 1, which is 2-deoxy-2-glucose. Natanong ba ito sa boards ng class, no? So ano daw ang nag-inhibit ng hexokinase? And then ang binigay doon, deoxyglucose. So this is the, ang action niya is competitive inhibition of glucose uptake. But there is also a less known inhibitor of hexokinase 2, which is 3-bromopyruvate. 3-bromopyruvate. And then, also, eto natanong na rin ito. What inhibits glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase? Okay, the answer is iodoacetate. Iodoacetate. So you can actually use them, and of course, cancer cells are very susceptible sa mga ito. No? In addition, there is what is known as HIF. This is called this is actually a hypoxia, hypoxia induced factor 1. Okay, so when there is decreased oxygen, ma-activate itong HIF. So when HIF is activated, it will stimulate vascular endothelial growth factor. So as the name implies vascular, so magkakaroon ka ng angiogenesis. Okay? Angiogenesis. By the way, what is the difference between vasculogenesis and angiogenesis? Vasculogenesis is mula, let's say, mula sa embryo, nag-form ka ng blood vessels. Angiogenesis is when you form new blood vessels from already existing blood vessels. Okay, so helps. Okay, so the function of HIF. So HIF can therefore be a target. So pag tinarget mo to, mag-stop yung angiogenesis and therefore you can actually kill the tumor. Okay. Now, the activity of glycolysis leads to the production of lactic acids. Maraming lactic acid. This is the reason why sa paligid ng mga cancer cells, you have a low pH in high environment. The low pH will actually inhibit immune cell function. Okay? And what are the drivers of localized acidosis? Yung Warburg effect brought about by hypoxia-induced factor. Tandaan yan, class, ha? Warburg effect brought about by hypoxia-induced factor. Okay. So, in addition, you have intermediates shunted to biosynthetic pathways. That is actually, so the cell will actually grow, okay? And you can actually see the carbon atoms from the glucose are actually trapped for cell construction. So, ang nangyayari, class, the cell will divert glucose into creation of biomass, creation of new tissues, rather than ATP production. This is a characteristic of cancer cells. But again, the energy that will be provided, galing din naman yan dun sa glucose. This is the reason why matakaw sa glucose ang cancer cell. Papayat at papayat talaga yung pasyente because it has a big appetite for glucose. Now, cancer stem cells, okay, so they are actually, if you produce cancers, they are actually quiescent cells, no? Usually dormant cells that, tahimik lang sila. But these cancer stem cells, let's say na-cure na yung pasyente, if they are not addressed, there will be a high degree of tumor recurrence. This is the reason cancer stem cells are the reason for tumor recurrence. And there are actually new therapies now in order to address this. No? Patayin mo yung cancer stem cells. Okay. In addition, we have exosomes. What are exosomes? So you have exocytosis. Through exocytosis, you can actually deliver, the cell can actually deliver proteins and other cellular components into other cells. And by doing so, they can, for example, remove yung mga harmful drugs that can kill the cancer. So yung mga chemotherapeutic drugs, this is one of the mechanism of cancer resistance, no? The production of these exosomes. In addition, they are also involved in metastasis, itong exosomes na ito. How are they produced? Okay, so yung tumor okay, so basically the exocytosis function, if you remember yung mechanisms of apoptosis. So this is the reason why sa paligid ng tumor, you have, aside from cells, no, marami kang debris, no, sa paligid ng tumor. It's actually a messy debris. Okay. Now, let's now go to how do you do metastasis? So metastasis is basically when they lose adhesions, no? And then the tumor cells will now enter blood, and then basically pupunta sila doon sa tissue. So ganun lang kasimple. And basically adhesion molecules are very important here, no? Sa mga metastatic pathways. Okay. Now, okay. So, there is what is known as cytotoxic T lymphocyte T lymphocyte A4 and PD1 checkpoints. So what are they? Immune survive. Usually, pagka may cancer formation ka, you're going to produce abnormal proteins. This can be detected by cytotoxic T cells and natural killer cells. That is why natural killer cells, saka cytotoxic T cells, they can actually kill cancer. Kaso lang, ang nangyari dito, class, is that there are actually checkpoints, no? There are actually breaks, no? Or basically substance that are actually produced that will actually break yung T cell killing. Okay? And these, no, itong mga proteins na ito produced by the tumor cells are utilized to evade T cell killing. Okay? So what is the significance of this? You can develop mono antibodies that will attack itong mga proteins na ito. Pagka na-attack sila, the T cells will now be ready to destroy the cancer cells. That is one way, one strategy to cure cancer, no? You want to reprogram T cells. This has been, I think there is a study in Russia, no? Meron na ngayon kung saan they tried to reprogram T cells to kill cancers. Okay, angiogenesis, okay, binanggit natin yung HIF kanina that will, okay, activate vascular endothelial growth factor, and then you also have other growth factors, no? Endostatin can actually inhibit this. Okay, now new blood vessels from cancers are usually leaky and they are actually facilitators of metastasis. Okay, and exosome, no, transport. Okay. One of the most common progression ng cancer is yung colorectal carcinoma. Initially, you have a mutation in the normal epithelium. Ano lang ito, no? So, even if with a mutation, the resulting cell will still look normal. But when you have a KRAS mutation, RAS mutation, okay, this will now transform the enterocyte into an adenoma. Okay. Mutation of p53 will lead to transition to carcinoma, and mutation in PRL3 will lead to metastasis. So frank carcinoma na siya. So sunod-sunod yan, class. Sunod-sunod na mutation. APC muna, KRAS, and then p53, and then PRL3. Now, there are other mutations such as beta-catenin. Okay? So, adenoma, may BRAF pa yan. Okay? And then large adenoma, we have p53 here, SMAD4, P10, and of course this one. No? So may description na yan, and of course, you can actually review that when I give you the Natapos na tayo, class, no? So we now go to biopsy. So how do you we now go to diagnostics, okay? So since the tumor are actually secreting exosomes, you know, sometimes their DNA can actually be detected in the blood, okay? And also they are actually produced by dying cancer cells. So they can actually be detected, no? ctDNA, no? And ang kagandahan yan, we can actually detect drug-resistant mutations, okay? Now, single cell sequencing, actually, ang function naman niya is basically to identify rare cells, like for example, cancer stem cells. Okay, it will actually differentiate. Single cell sequencing will differentiate the types of cell within a certain cancer, a particular cancer. Okay, so that's the function of single cell. Now, diagnostic markers have been used, been secreted by tumors. So example yan ito. I want you to memorize this. So we have alpha-fetoprotein. Pag mataas yan, is associated with hepatocellular carcinoma, though it's non-specific. No? PSA, associated with prostate cancer, CEA for colon and lung cancer, and CA-125 for ovarian cancer. Okay. Ito yung sinasabi kong T-cell therapy. So you have, you modify the antigen receptor and transform them into a chimera, no? So the receptors will bind to antigens in the tumor cells, okay, and kill the tumor cells, no? Hopefully. So that is actually chimeric antigen receptor T-cell therapy. Okay. Now, we now have CRISPR-Cas9. If you're familiar with CRISPR-Cas9, Cas9 is actually a molecular scissor, di ba? If you remember the movie, yung may si The Rock at saka yung may malaking, what do you call this? Malaking pangalan gorilla, di ba, isang chimpanzee na pinalaki nila through modification of its DNA. Okay, so they use a Cas9, okay, and it is actually a they tagged a growth promoting gene doon sa CRISPR-Cas9 and then inserted it, and then yung CRISPR-Cas9 will actually cut on specific DNA sequences, okay, especially yung Cas9 niya, and then i-insert yung genetic material. Okay, so this is actually used to engineer chimeric antigen receptor T cells to basically kill tumor cells, hopefully. So yun yung iniisip nila dun sa CRISPR-Cas9, or even directly kill, no? Pero although this is actually quite tricky, okay? So targeted therapy. So targeted therapies targets, you have molecular targets. For example, trastuzumab is a molecular antibody that targets HER2/neu in breast cancer. Okay, so pag meron kang HER2/neu, once trastuzumab targets this, it can actually kill the tumor by activating the immune system. Bevacizumab targets VEGF-A, so it is actually anti-angiogenic. The good thing about molecular targets is that normal cells that do not express itong mga proteins na ito will not be affected. So there will be minimal damage to healthy cells, hopefully. And of course, prevention. You know how to prevent it? With regards cancer, the most important, they say, is the prevention, of course. Avoidance of tobacco, avoidance of things like that. They say that with regards to the human race, when you survive long enough, you will actually develop cancer because, not because simply of your genetics, but because we are actually exposed. We're actually destroying our own environment. You're not eating right, diba? So once these factors accumulate, chances are we are going to develop cancers in the future if we live long enough. Hopefully we don't develop heart attack. Okay, so that's it for cancer biochemistry. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you po, Doc.
So ready to entertain question. May question ba, class, sa cancer?